Welcome to The Big Break Show, a podcast where we discuss short-term rentals, entrepreneurship, life, mindset, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Rafa, Loza, and Jesse Vasquez.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of our beloved podcast, The Big Break Show. What's up, Jesse? How you doing, brother?
What is up, dude? Happy New Year, Rafa. Welcome to 2023, which is the year of making big things happen, which is also a Lunar New Year that just passed, the Chinese New Year, which is Year of the Rabbit, Rafa. 2023, Year of the Rabbit. And guess who we have on today?
Miss Coni, the social media queen.
Got you, social media queen. And you know what, you guys? We talk about why it's so important to build your business on social media. I wasn't a big fan of it. I know Rafa wasn't a big fan of it, but unfortunately and fortunately, in the year of the rabbit, we have to go all in on these kinds of things to grow our business, right, Rafa?
Yes, sir. Yep. I mean, I'm going all in on social media this year just because I know how important it is now, not only to get your name out there, but to grow your audience, gets you credibility, and it just puts your name out there so that people know what you do. It helps you build your network. It helps you make relationships. So I'm really excited. She talks about a lot of really good tips to grow it. It used to be social media where you just post stuff about what was interesting in your life or things that you like to do. Not anymore. It's changed, right? Now it's got to be used intentionally. You got to be the one who's putting the content out over the one who's taking all the content in. And if you're the one putting the content out and adding value and helping people, I mean, the possibilities are endless. I've seen it in my business. I've seen it happen to you, what it's done to you. And so I'm excited to have her on here. I'm sure you guys are really going to enjoy this episode, and there's a lot to learn from it.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think it's one of those episodes where you're just like, instead of consuming content, I need to create content. You need to like literally flip the table. And I think that, a lot of people don't like to be on camera, me being included. And it's just something that you have to get over. And, if you want to grow a business, it's what you have to do. So you nailed it. She talks about all those things perfectly. So yeah, man, I'm excited for this one.
Yep. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. And like always, leave us a comment, leave us a like, share the episode. We want to get to as many people as possible. And be patient with us in terms of episodes coming out, guys. We've been super busy, as you guys know. Just recorded this episode at the hotel where we were at. So we've been running around doing some serious work. I know Jesse's out there getting a bunch of properties. So, we'll get this content out for you guys as soon as possible. So
don't forget the summit, Rafa.
Oh, yeah. And guys, if you guys are going to be around in end of April, San Diego, we're doing the very first ever midterm rental summit. So make sure you guys get your tickets. The link will be below. I'm going to be a speaker. Jesse's letting me speak at his event. But there's going to be a lot of great speakers, and we're going to do some awesome, intimate networking. It's going to be a small group of people, about 300 people, Jesse?
Yeah, 300
So
people,
we're going to get to really make good relationships with each other. We're going to talk about all things short-term rentals, midterm rentals mainly, arbitrage. The CEO of Furnish Finder is going to be there, so it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be cool. And plus, you guys can't go wrong in freaking San Diego in the beginning of May. Like, it's 75 and sunny. I mean, that's kind of like what Los Angeles and Orange County is all the time anyway. But you guys, Mission Beach is awesome. We'd love to see you out there. Rafa and I are excited to connect with people. Not only that, but Rafa's right. First midterm rental summit ever. We're just excited, man. So get your tickets. There's early bird special going on right now. And don't be last. Get out there. We look forward to seeing you guys.
Hey guys, Rafa here. A lot of you guys have been asking me if I have a course, if I teach, if I mentor my short-term rental business, and the answer is I do actually. I just recently released my very first course. It has about 120 videos. If you're part of the monthly membership, we are adding 2 new videos a month in current issues or projects that I'm working on within the short-term rental business, and we do 1 monthly call live where you have access to me to ask me all the questions you want. So if you're interested in joining the course, or if you want any more info, click the link below. It is application only. We only open it to a certain amount of students every month because we want people who are serious, who really want to be a part of this, who actually want to take their short-term rental business and grow it, or are starting from scratch and want to learn how to actually acquire properties doing rental arbitrage. If that's you, if you're serious and you really want to do this, click the link below, schedule a call with me or my team, and we'll get you going. Now back to the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. We have a special guest today, Miss Coni. And she is a social media expert, which I am, by the way, potentially going to hire. Actually, I think I'm pretty sure I'm going to hire you, Coni. Like, maybe we should just do an interview on the air right now.
My God.
Yeah.
Put me on the spot.
I know. I'm just messing with you. We already talked, and I'm excited to be working with you. So tell us a little bit about what you do in the social media space. Let's jump right into it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you guys. Basically what I do, so I've been a social media manager for over 10 years, and I focus heavily on organic growth. So it varies from person to person, but I just feel like everyone has a very unique story. And I try to translate that story, that message through people's content so that you can connect with people outside of just your business. It's building real relationships. And I think that's one of the most powerful tools and things that can be leveraged through social media. So that's what I focus on.
Okay, so I know there's a lot of big accounts that you've been managing. I'm curious because you said you've been in it for 10 years and I didn't know that it was that long. So have you done, is it like just stuff that you do yourself, or have you always worked for like other people, like on their accounts, or like, can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, sure. So I actually got into it when I was 18. I don't know if you remember those Facebook like pages, but you used to be able to like those pages and it would pop up and say like, Jesse just liked this page. Yeah. Right. So I created one of those when I was 18 years old. I was in high school about to graduate. It was created. I was called, "I love when you text me first because then I know you're thinking about me." And it was a stupid quote, but I wanted my boyfriend who was not my boyfriend at the time to see it. So that's why I made that account. So he would see like Coni Alvarez just like this. So whatever. I made the account and it ended up getting over 1.8 million likes. Wow. At that time, organically. There was no Facebook ads. Instagram was not popular yet. It was just me and organically growing this account. And the reason why I became kind of like so interested in it was because I was like, wow, I didn't realize at the time how powerful it was. And I ended up selling that page actually. But at the time I was like writing statuses, getting to know people, and not with any kind of intentions, just out of curiosity, really. So people were responding and they were from like China and India and all these places. And I just like, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my gosh, here I am, in Florida, and these people in India and Hong Kong are responding. And I would post engaging statuses at the time. And I would say like, where are you from in the world? What time is it where you are? Like just asking questions. Like I said, just basically because I was curious. So that was my first introduction to social media. And then I went off to college. So I sold that Facebook page, bought a car, moved, went to college. And it's funny because in college, I didn't know what I wanted to go to school for yet. Social media as a career at the time was not a thing. And had I known what would have came from it, I'd probably, have like a million like agencies right now and all this stuff. But I was so young. And at the time I had no idea. So, and social media was not popping like that yet.
Did you sell that page for a lot of money?
No. It was, I sold it for 10 grand. It definitely was not, for today, 18. At 18, yeah. At the time, there was not enough resources for me to even know what to do with it. Right. And honestly, I probably would have sold it for like 2 grand if I had not talked to my like friend's dad, who was a business owner, who was like, no, I think you could get more. But there was no information on this stuff. Like I couldn't figure out, like today, there's pages that if you have like micro influencers, if you have like 5,000 followers today, you could potentially make 10 grand off a single post. So imagine if I had a page that had over 1.8 million likes, you know what I mean? That's just whatever. But I don't have any regrets or anything because that was just, I didn't know. I was young. And at the time it was like cool, but I
just realized I'm a micro influencer.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's funny.
Well,
yeah, I learn something new every day.
It's true, but it depends heavily on your engagement as well. Like you can't just have like, let's say 5,000 followers and say, okay, I want 10 grand a post. Like you need to have an engaged following. You need to show insights that say, hey, look, whoever you're trying to like, let's say make this money off of, let's say it's like one of your systems you use for your Airbnbs. You need to show that you have engagement rates, likes, people are saving your post, sharing your post. You need to show those insights in order to be able to make money like that. And that's why it's important to focus. That's why I'm always, if you follow me on Instagram or whatever, I'm always talking about engagement. And it's not just about views. It's about shares. It's about comments. It's about just saves on your post. That's what really matters, not the views.
So, Coni, it's funny you say that because there's these dudes that will contact me sometimes and they're like, hey, our page has like 70,000 followers. We could work with you, blah, 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 get your following up. And then I'll check their engagement and they have like 40 views on a video. And I'm like, dude, how do you get 40 views on a video when you have like 70,000 followers? Like these are people that are buying followers or like, what's the deal with that?
Yeah, a lot of the time it's just people buying followers. I've honestly never in my life bought followers, but I'm pretty sure there's apps or websites. I don't know how they do it, but I don't think it's hard because I know a lot of people do it and they do it to build credibility, but we're all just getting smarter and like, oh, if you have 1 million followers, but I look at your page and you have 5 views on every video, like that's ridiculous. Like, people are, it's just, but some people don't even take it that step to look at the content. Some people are like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll work with you, but
yeah, social media is it's such a crazy thing, and I didn't realize like how powerful it is until I started a YouTube channel. Like for me, that was like wow, like this is like something really cool. Like I've been able to grow a pretty decent following on Instagram. I mean, on YouTube, and I think YouTube is probably my best platform. But social media, the Instagram side of things, it can change your business in a huge way. And I think that I've noticed over the time, if you're consistent with it, I mean, with anything, right? You're consistent with it, you're going to grow. So if somebody new that's starting off right now, this is going to be like kind of an episode where it's just like, we're going to dive into the new beginners or people that like are have taken Rafa's course and they eventually want to do something on their own or want to build a following on what they're doing. So what would be like 3 steps that people can take like right now to boost their engagement in social media, or what are things that they could potentially do to help them grow if they're just new starting off or they have a following already? Like, what's your tips on that?
Okay, so if it's someone that's brand new, first I would decide which platform you want to go all in on. There's different options. Instagram and TikTok are great for short form videos. YouTube is great for long form videos. Then you have podcasts. If you like to talk, you can go the podcast route. I feel like there is a platform for every single person, even like blog writers, things like that. So the first thing would be to choose your platform that you feel comfortable going all in on. After that, I would decide on what your niche is going to be. A lot of the times people have trouble figuring out what their niche is, but if you just take the time to figure it out for a minute, it could become clear to you. Like Jesse, for you, you are a midterm rental investor. That's your niche. That's what you should go all in on because you are an expert at that thing. So I think everyone is an expert in something and they can teach something. So the second thing I would recommend is niching down, and it just becomes better and easier for people to find you, for people to resonate with your content. You'll find your ideal and your target audience that way faster, and you'll grow faster. And then the third thing is obviously posting. So you definitely need to have some sort of idea when you're posting your content, some kind of direction. I always recommend having at least, like, I call them content pillars, and it's kind of a phrase used in like the marketing world, whatever. But it's basically like categories of content that you will always be posting, whether it is something that is relatable, something that is educational, a tip, the numbers. Like for investors, that's another thing that, people could be, or investors could be talking about, is the numbers on your mid-term rental. What are you making off your Airbnb arbitrage units? Rafa, you just bought an 18-unit hotel and I didn't even know about it, but you could talk about that like in so many different ways. And that's another thing, is like, there's so many ways to talk about content or say the same thing in another form. Like for Instagram, you can say it in a short 30-second video, and then you can create a carousel post about it. I do that all the time. So yeah, the first thing is choose your platform. Second thing is pick your niche. And then the third thing would be to post good content within your niche.
You make it sound so simple, Coni. Just like these 3 things, here you go. That's all you got to do.
It is. It could be simple. It is simple. You just have to. It's easier when you're like with someone who knows what they're doing, just with anything. Like I don't know anything about midterm rentals, but I'm sure if I spoke with you, you could break it down to me very simply. So that's why I'm saying everyone's good at something,
Yeah. There's literally like whatever you're into, like you can make a platform out of it. And I've noticed that with social media. You can be into like the wackiest freaking right-wing crazy, but you can be like the wackiest type of person and literally have a following just off of like 30-second reels. And you know what the crazy thing too, and you and I, Connie, talked about this, like TikTok is like, it's like the Wild West. There's no real, like, you don't have to have structure with anything, right? Where we talked about how Instagram is becoming more of this like business platform in this like weird way. And TikTok is just kind of like, can you kind of talk about the differences between the two and like the type of person that you get from those?
For sure. Yeah, I would definitely say Instagram has a lot of tools for business, especially if you have a creator account on your profile. I don't know what it is about Instagram, but TikTok is just one of those platforms that is like totally different. But you do see a lot of the content from TikTok trickling over to Instagram. But there's TikTok is like its own culture. Like people, I feel like the weirder you are, the funnier you are, the more you are yourself on TikTok. For some reason, that does very well. Like you shouldn't get on TikTok and try to be super professional, super business-like, because it just doesn't work in the TikTok culture. But that kind of content is great for maybe like Facebook and Instagram, maybe even LinkedIn. People are posting videos too. But TikTok is just like, be yourself, be crazy, do something weird, be relatable. It's just different. It's just totally different. So that's definitely kind of like the major differences is like sometimes people are, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that the older generation has been on Instagram and now you have the younger Gen Z, millennials, blah, blah, blah on TikTok and they're just don't care anymore. They're just like, whatever. And another thing I started to notice, and I don't know if you guys feel like this too, but I feel like sometimes the people that I follow, it's just everything becomes so business-like on Instagram. Like I feel like everything's so professional. I feel like everyone's kind of posting the same stuff, whereas TikTok is just so random. So for me, it feels like TikTok is more of a brain break. Like I don't have to try so hard to be so perfect on TikTok. I can just talk, do whatever I want, and it's not so much pressure. But Instagram, I feel like there is a little bit more pressure to be, I don't want to say perfect, but a certain way.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. On TikTok, it's definitely the younger generation of people who just want to have sort of entertainment but learn something at the same time. And Instagram, you have to be very structured. Like you have to be structured. You have to give some sort of like learning thing or tip or trick or just the way I feel about it too. Because even the stuff that I post, I'm like, I hate doing structured content and I have to do it to put it out there. And for Instagram, I'm like, I have to sit here and actually have like something formally like either written or planned up ahead of time. And it's part of the whole thing. I want to ask you though, how important do you feel it is to be on Instagram? Because talking about being social media and not just Instagram, but on any platform, like how important is it and like, even if you're not in business or working, because nowadays, the reason I'm asking this question is because nowadays you have so many influencers trying to teach people how to do investing or real estate or Airbnb or whatever the case may be, right? Aside from that, how important is it for people to actually get on social media and post? If it wasn't for trying to push some sort of like agenda, a course, or like some kind of like just your name, whatever the case may be.
So I was thinking about this the other day, actually, and I was thinking about what I was, to touch on my point from earlier, is that Instagram is so much about business now that I don't see that many people just posting their personal lives on Instagram anymore, at least the people that I follow. I'm sorry, what was the question? Like,
how important do you think it is nowadays? Well, because here's the reason, right? The reason why I say this is because I don't even go on Instagram anymore because it's annoying. Number one, I don't even get to see the people I follow. I get to watch anybody that they think I need to follow. Like I get sponsored posts more than I actually do get the people I follow, which is extremely annoying. And it's always just people who have this agenda of pushing their course, pushing their their business, pushing whatever it is that they're doing because, they're paid now. You got to pay to be pushed on ads on Instagram. So how important do you feel it is for people to actually go out and put content out now if they don't have an agenda behind it?
Well, I guess that's really up to them. And like, some people feel weird about posting their personal life on Instagram.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want to put yourself out there for your personal life, then go for it, because you don't know, like a lot of people are doing that and they're creating vlogs and they're turning into influencers and they're getting paid for just doing the things that they do every day. Like waking up, making a smoothie, going to yoga. They're getting paid so much money to do these things. So even that, it feels like, oh, this is my daily life, but then it turns into a business, right? So yeah, it's hard for me to say. I think if you want to grow a business and be successful, it's important 100% to be on a social media platform. But if you don't care about, sharing your life, don't care about having a business or any of that, then and I don't know, maybe don't go on Instagram if you don't want to. There's no point, but I think that varies person to person.
I just feel like it's kind of pointless nowadays, right? Back in the day, I used to post stuff and you used to post like stuff about what they're doing, what they're sharing. Now you just put a story because you don't really put any more posts because you don't get to see them anyway. Like I never see anybody's posts, like unless I'm intentionally going to the search bar and typing that person's name to see what they've done, I don't get to see it anymore, right?
Yeah, Rafa, you never like any of my posts, bro. What's up with that?
Because you never pop up anymore, dude. Well, I don't go on Instagram anymore anyway, but it's like it becomes a thing where you don't, honestly, that's why I got off of Instagram. I got really annoyed with it. I go in there to see people that I follow because first of all, I only follow a handful of people anyway because I follow people that I enjoy to follow or that have good content or people that are close to me. And then I get 40 posts and I see one person I actually follow. It's like sponsored, paid ad, sponsored. Oh, Jesse, sponsored, paid ad, sponsored, right? Coni. And it's like, dude, can I see somebody that I actually follow? I don't know. Is it just my page? Does Instagram do it personally, like per people, or is that across the board for everybody? Maybe you know the answer to that.
Well, I don't really know like the true answer to that, but I do know that if you see those sponsored posts, there's 3 dots on the top right, and you can click like, stop showing me this, stop showing me this. And I do that all the time. Or if I
do it all the time.
Yeah. If I see someone that like keeps popping up and they're like an Airbnb person that I know is like a phony, I'll just block them. And then you won't see their content because they're obviously paying for you to see it. But if you block that person, then you're not going to see it. So, yeah.
I'll start doing that. That's a good suggestion. I'm going to start blocking all these contents that I see now.
Yeah, go ahead. Block people.
Oh shit, Rafa! I think you blocked me, bro. Because like you know what? I'm gonna go through my Facebook right now, my Instagram right now. When's the last post that Rafa liked of mine, you guys?
What do you mean? I just commented on your story yesterday about your link not working.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do is change your grid on Instagram so you can favorite certain profiles, and then you can choose those accounts that will always show for you. So if you go onto your So if you go onto your Instagram homepage and just click the little house on the left-hand side, click the Instagram logo at the top that just says Instagram in cursive, and then you can click following, favorites. You can click favorites right here, the second one, and click add favorites and add all your favorites, and you won't miss anyone.
It's funny because my Instagram's blocked off because I give myself only 5 minutes a day now because I was addicted. So I can't even get on it right now. But I'll do that absolutely afterwards.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. I just feel like nowadays Instagram has such an agenda to just push people who pay them to actually put their stuff out there that you don't even really get to enjoy anybody's content. Which is why I also feel like TikTok's gone so popular because you actually get to see stuff. Like their algorithm is really good about things that you actually like, and it throws stuff that you actually like. Like I never used TikTok till about 4 months ago, and now I'm like I can't find myself scrolling through TikTok, and I'm talking to my girlfriend the other day, and I was like, dude, do you use TikTok? And she's like, no. I'm like, dude, I was like, this is amazing. I've been on it for like an hour, and there's like really good stuff on here.
They have an incredible algorithm. And it knows, it's very smart, and it knows things that you've liked, and it also keeps track of like what you're watching, you know? So if you're watching a certain video, even if it doesn't know if you like it yet, it might just push out a random video. But if you like that random video that they pushed out to you and you watch the whole thing, then they're like, oh, Rafa likes this. Let's put that in his algorithm, and they'll show you more of that kind of video. It's just their algorithms in general are just so crazy.
Yeah. I need to do more TikTok. I don't even really go on TikTok at all.
I love TikTok. It's so fun. Yeah, I go on it. I've been one of those people that just is like a person that doesn't have a profile, and I'm just watching other videos because it's so entertaining. But I actually recently just started posting this week on TikTok, and I realized like, oh, no one cares on TikTok. So I'm just going to post. And I've been posting random things, and I'm actually I got like 30 followers in like a day. I was like, oh, this is so random because I'm not even trying. So
one of our friends came on here and he told us about his TikTok, how he got to 1 million followers literally like in 2 days or something like that. Because like 5 of his videos went viral on TikTok. Yeah. Now his Instagram's got 1 million followers. I just saw it the other day. And we talked about it briefly too. Remember that, Jesse?
Yeah.
Anyway, switching over to social media and stuff like that, like, you started it, you got a good page that you liked and all that fun stuff, right? What made you continue down that path, though? Like, what was it that said, hey, I want to keep doing this?
I just it's one of my passions. Like, it's just like anyone else who has a passion about anything. Like, that's how I feel about social media. And I didn't realize it when I was 18. We had that Facebook story. Like, I didn't realize it at the time. But, you know, moving forward, like as I got a little bit older, I started to see, and the main thing was like, I would see other people who were not even good at social media, like starting businesses and like getting these clients. And I was like dropping courses. And I was like, wow, imagine if someone who's like good and passionate would come in and, you know, it's just different. I don't know. I can't really explain what it is I love about social media. I guess the fact that you can like network with people that you would have never met otherwise. Like even talking to you guys, I would not be talking to you guys right now if I wasn't on Instagram because I met you in person through Tony. And I started working for Tony Robinson because of Instagram, because I found him on Instagram and I applied for his job. So if it wasn't for him or that Instagram in general, I wouldn't even be here right now. So it's just, I always think about these things, and I think about Instagram in a way of a positive tool, which I know a lot of people have negative negative things to say about social media, but there are also so many like different steps you can take to make Instagram, social media more of a safe place. Like I said, blocking people, you can hide comments, you can delete comments, things like that. You can hide your likes if you're someone that's like, oh, I didn't get enough likes. There's a lot of ways to make it so it's not so much pressure. But I don't know. I just love the fact that social media can take you to places that you would have never been able to reach otherwise. I think that's super important, and it's very, it's something that should be leveraged for anyone, any business.
Yeah, you brought up several really good points there. Number one being that a lot of people say social media is in a bad, like they say it's a negative thing, right? It's a bad thing. And there's a reason for that. Like me being that I'm in the short-term rental space with Airbnbs and stuff, when I see other people's posts who don't know what the hell they're talking about and they started one unit and now they're selling courses for one unit that they've been working on, I'm like, and so many people, right? They pay some other ad company to push their content and they have 20,000 followers because they paid for these Instagram ads or followers or whatever the case may be. I have a funny story about that, by the way. And you see this stuff and you're like, dude, like a lot of people fall for that. I have people come to me sometimes and they go, hey, I'd like to either do a consultation call with you, or I don't do those anymore, but when I used to, or it's like, I'd like to join your course because I just signed up for so-and-so's course and they have no idea what they're doing. I'm like, well, why'd you do it? Well, because they have a really big following on Instagram and I thought that they knew what they were talking about. And I'm like, that sucks, right? And that's true. Like there's a lot of people out there, like you said. But then there's also the great side of it, right? The safer, but aside from the safe part, the fact that you can take social media and you can leverage it in a way to put your name out there. I've gotten so many great things from social media to the point right now. And like you said, I'm a micro influencer. Like I don't even have that many followers, right? I think I'm like at 4,600 or something on Instagram. I've gotten so many good opportunities within my business, right?
Yeah.
Like I've partnered up with my guys. Like it's given me credibility. I've gotten deals. I've gone to speaking gigs, like all kinds of crazy stuff through social media. So I feel like it has a big help if used correctly, rather than being that consumer, right? Don't be the consumer who's looking at all the nonsense and all the fluff and sucking it in. Bet who you talk to, bet who you follow, and I guess now block people now that we know how to do it. Show us. So I have no idea.
Well, and another point is that, like, there's always going to be phonies in any industry, online, in person. You don't really know who's fake and who's not, right? But those same people falling for the fake Airbnb gurus or whatever kind of guru online is the same person that would probably fall for like a bad like used car salesman or whatever, you know what I mean? Like the most random things, because if you're not vetting, that's just a personal problem. Like I would never pay for a $10,000 course, let's say, without actually doing my own research. But that comes also down to the person. Like you can't believe, I think at this point, we've all seen crazy things on Instagram and social media. And at the same time, like we have to remember Instagram, social media, all those things are only a highlight reel. Like I'm not talking about video reel. I'm just saying it's a highlight of people's lives. Not everyone's
the best part of their lives too.
Exactly. So that's like the thing with, I know a lot of people that I know are comparing and they have imposter syndrome and things like that. But you have to remember that you have to get that. You just have to get it out of your head. And I coach people, and that's one of the things that I'm very big on is stop comparing your story to someone else's story. We don't even know if it's true. So, that's another big thing. And
I feel like we're all victims of that, right? I do it sometimes. That's why I also stopped scrolling Instagram, because I'm like, oh my God, these people are doing that. I'm not doing enough. Gosh darn it, they're doing this. I got to go do that. And then I come back at the end of the day, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm happy with where I'm at and with what's going on. You know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of people fall for that.
And it's one of those things you just kind of have to keep reminding yourself, like, I am doing enough, and don't compare yourself to like that person. Compare yourself to like you last year, you last month, or you 5 years ago, because then it becomes like that competition in the mirror versus, but it's one of those things, everyone is like that. I get like that too. I see people, I'm like, oh my God, they're so good. Like my content's not as good as theirs, but then I have to quickly like flip that switch and say, but yours is different. Like you're different. So just keep doing you and opportunities will come. So it's important to just be yourself and not compare.
I agree. I think that's the difficult part too, is just like, looking at what people are doing. Like, I want to do that. Or like, I even talked to Rafa. I'm like, man, look at these guys. They get to go on and speak on these stages. Like we should be up there doing that. And at the end of the day, it's like, it's a driving force in one way, but it's also like a negative in another way. It's like a self-harming kind of like, I'm not good enough type thing. And I think that's something that's extremely strong. And people don't talk about that like on a regular basis. They're not going to go out and say, I mean, Rafa just said it right now, but That's a prominent thing for sure. So one of the things, Connie, I'm going to kind of switch this conversation here real quick. When we talk about algorithms with Instagram, when I had a call with you, you broke down like what views and what like engagement and like what does that actually mean? So like somebody like Rafa and I have like 5,000 followers. What do we need to be gauging our views on, or what do we need to be looking at? Like, what's the specific thing we should be paying attention? And you kind of talked about it a second ago, but can you kind of break that down, elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So when you're posting, like, first you need like either a business profile, or I recommend creator profiles because you get to see more insights on Instagram, at least.
What's the difference?
Business is literally what it sounds for, like business, professional. The thing with creator, the main thing that is important is that with the creator account, you get to see trending audios. You get to have those sounds. If you have a business profile on Instagram, you're not going to see all the trending audios. You might not even see when a song is trending in general, and you don't get to see as many insights as you do with the creator account. So creator account is just great for tracking. But when you're thinking about what are my engagements, I was telling you, views are not really what matters. What matters is how many comments are you getting on your post? Are people saving your post? Are you telling people to save your post? Because that's another thing. When you post a video or any piece of content, you always want to have a hook and then at the end a call to action, because you need to tell people. You cannot assume that people know what you want them to do. So you have to tell them every single time. If you look at any of my videos for the past like probably over a year, I always say like, follow me for more, drop a comment if you blah, 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 like save this post. I say those things all the time. And because people they don't know, you have to remind them. Are people saving your posts? Are people commenting? Are they engaging with you? And the most important thing is like, are the conversations flowing into your direct messages? Because the direct messages is where business truly happens. It's where people build that form of trust with you. When people follow you, they're already kind of forming these tiny little relationships in their head with you based on what you're posting, right? So if they see Rafa is like posting an 18-unit hotel he just bought, someone might really resonate with that. Maybe someone else just bought a mini motel. Maybe someone else is interested in that, right? But they don't reach out yet. But then Rafa posts about it again next week, right? And now the person has already seen Rafa post about it. Now he wants to get comfortable and ask Rafa something, right? So now he's going to go to your DMs and say, hey, how did you finance that? Or how did you buy that? And then that is where a conversation forms, right? Once this person has this conversation with Rafa and realizes, okay, Rafa's the real deal. It doesn't matter about the followers, If you can show people that you have authority in whatever it is you're selling, now that guy probably is interested in Rafa's course. He might say, oh, well, do you offer mentorship? And maybe Rafa will say, well, I have this course and there's a mentorship call every month or whatever it is, And that is how you kind of nurture your audience. Even if you post something and you only get one comment, you need to respond to that one person, because that one person could be a client. It doesn't matter if you're 50 comments versus 100. Like we were talking about this last time. If you can't sell to 100 people, you cannot sell to 100,000 people. If you can sell to your audience right now where it's at, that's what you should be focusing on. And the good thing about having a smaller following and a smaller audience is that you can feel more like in tune with those people. They feel like they know you because you are a smaller account. So it's easily to access you. It's not so hard for Rafa or Jesse to DM me back because he sees my DM. But as you grow, that's when followers start to lose that connection with you because they're like, oh my God, he's so big. He'll never see my message. He'll never see this. But when you're small, you should always be responding to DMs and letting people know that you're there, you care, you're that person that they can go to if they have questions about midterm rentals or short-term rentals. It's so important to make sure people know that.
You know what's crazy? Whenever anybody messages me, I'll send a voice message and people are like, oh my God, I thought I was going to get your assistant or something like that. And I'm like, I don't have a big following. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's kind of cool to hear people be like, wow, you're actually responding. I thought, your assistant would do it or something.
Voice messages are great. That's even more personal. Like you took the time, to like say that, like, that's amazing. And I'm sure you've gotten like sales and opportunities in that way because if you haven't yet, you will, because that's just even more personal and people want that connection with you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm a big customer service guy. So I think for me, it's like, going that extra step, especially if you're starting off, you got to think about it from the beginning. Like, and I'm thinking about myself as an investor from the beginning. Like I listened to Bigger Pockets, would start messaging people that were on the show. Like literally that's what I did. I'd go on Instagram, find them and send them a message. These are the same people in the same spots that I was, in 2015 when I first started my investing career. So like for me, that resonates to be able to help people, even if it's just a small, like, hey dude, you could do this. Like sometimes people need to hear that. So I think it's incredibly important to be responsive and to, answer yourself if you can, if it's possible. I get at some point you get too much stuff. Like it just, even some days, Rafa, you probably do too. It's just like message after message and just like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Like, how am I going to get back to all these people? But I think that's where somebody like you comes into play, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. If you could answer like a few with the voice message though, like that's amazing too. But yeah, as long as people are being tended to, like that's important. The direct messages are very important.
Cool. So how would somebody like, okay, so now let's get into the actual business part of this stuff. So you look at people's pages ever and you're just like, oh my God, if I was managing your business page, you'd be like so much further ahead. Do you do that? Don't like money.
Okay, yes, but not like thinking of it like that. Like I'll see someone who I know is extremely successful and killing it. And then I'll look at their Instagram and say like, wow, you would probably have so many more, and not probably, you would have so many more opportunities if you leveraged your Instagram in the right way so people can actually find you and know what you're doing. I've seen so many speakers on stage, like at events and stuff, and I go to check them out on Instagram and their Instagram's dead. It's like not even anything about what they just spoke about on stage. It's like their cat, their kid at the dentist, like a Happy New Year static post. And I'm like, oh my God, I would never follow you because I don't want to, I'm sorry, but I don't care about any of that.
Yeah. Can we do a live audit right now? Maybe go on there and tell me what my page needs to be changed to, even like my headline.
Jesse was hoping to do a consultation with you on the podcast right now. Get out of here, dude.
That's why I'm here, huh?
I know,
Get
right?
on there, Coni.
Okay, Coni, I got to tell you something too, because I kind of feel like that myself. Like I don't really post a lot of the stuff that I do unless I do record at my house. Dude, okay, it's mentally draining to
It really is.
create content. There'll be times where I sit down and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to record today. And I'm like, fuck, I have to make a video. I have to make something. And I'll go through my list of stuff that I got to make. And I'm like, oh, this one sounds good. But it's because I'm kind of into it at that moment. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, like, that happens to me sometimes. And I sometimes get into these standstills where I'm like, I don't want to create something right now. So if I don't feel like creating or talking, I won't. I will wait until I feel like creating. And actually, me personally, for the last month, I would say I've just been in a weird position where I don't really like the content I've been posting. I'm still posting every day. But it doesn't feel like very genuine. It's not like what I want to post, right? And you would look at my Instagram and think, oh, your posts are great. Like, yeah, they're okay, but it's just not what I want to post. But I haven't felt creative enough to get my vision out, right? But this week I have felt I just had like creative, like, I don't know what, but I've just been I have so many new ideas. I've been just recording because usually I can have ideas all the time. But sometimes when you're posting so frequently, it's hard to be creative like that all the time. You have like these creative juices. So, people go through it all the time. But like I said, I will not create if I don't feel like it because it's not going to be like a good post anyway. So I'm like, whatever.
Well, there's moments where like I just don't feel like doing anything, and I don't even create that much content. I maybe put out like 3 a week, so it's not like it's that much. But dude, I can only talk about so much. Like I see your posts, and they're different because you have the words in the post, and you're like doing things in the background, and you're like giving advice. I can't do that. Like I have to talk to the camera and talk about something.
Me?
How do you? Yeah. Yeah, you. I've seen your posts. Like they're badass. I like your posts. They're badass.
Thank you.
You're one of the people that I actually follow on Instagram. And so,
Not
it's
me,
like
just you, Coni.
more than
We
Jesse's posts.
together.
Jesse's posts are annoying. Jesse's was just always just sitting on short-term rentals. I'm like, block this guy.
I knew it.
No, but that's not true. I follow you, buddy. But
All right, bro. Hang on real quick on that. I go in, I look at everybody else's posts. Rafa's liking everybody else's stuff, and then I go look at mine, and there's no Rafa likes.
I feel like we need to have like
you know what, bro? This is intervention right now, Coni. You're a therapist right here, right now.
I'm going to unlock my Instagram right now. Hold on a second. I'm giving myself extra 15 minutes time, and I'm going to go like some of your posts.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. I'm going to be able to sleep tonight now. Dude. I'm going to sleep so good tonight, Rafa. Thank you,
Go
buddy.
like mine too while you're at it.
I'm just going to go like literally, look, 1, 2, 3. Hold on. I'm on 4 now.
This is how I got to get this guy to like my stuff. I got to be on a podcast with him to be like, hey, Rafa, you're not liking my stuff, but you're liking everybody else. You're liking Tony's stuff. You're liking homie stuff. And then here I am Just the guy that's doing a podcast with you doesn't even get likes, man.
Favoritism.
You know, it's funny. You're right, dude. I haven't liked any of your posts, and I see them all the time. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Damn.
You know what? It's
Haters
all
in
right,
the
bro.
I just
building.
like 12 in a row.
Haters in the. Can you believe this stuff?
Hater
Connie?
alert.
I know, man. This guy's different.
Not even. That's so funny. I thought you were BSing. I literally just liked all these posts.
It be
this
your
guy.
own people. It be your own people.
Look at this guy, man. You know what? Rafa would trip me right now if I was walking in front of him. Like, I freaking know it.
He would push you down.
Oh, man.
He would trip me, be like, oh, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, that's like funny.
All right, so talking about social media, I really block it because, dude, it became an addiction. So now I only give myself 5 minutes a day, unless I have to go on there for messages. And I have a bunch of messages right now that I have to respond to. So how do you, can we talk about that for a second, though, the social media addiction? What are your thoughts behind that, Connie?
If there is a social media addiction, I am definitely guilty of it, but more so on TikTok, because I just feel like the algorithm on TikTok is so crazy. And I just see so many different kinds of videos, but that's another good point to bring up, right? Because on TikTok, you see so many different videos and it just keeps you like engaged and like looking at it. But Instagram is just starting to feel like I'm seeing the same things, like the same people getting videos edited in the same way. And we're all sitting down and it's interview style, at least the people that I follow. So I'm like, do I need to follow more people? Yeah, I mean, everybody's posting up content like that, you know, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying like it's all becoming so repetitive and just kind of boring, honestly. And so it's important to like stand out in a way that can show what you're doing without posting it or sharing it in the same way that everyone else is, right? So like Rafa, for you, I know you have arbitrage units. One way to do it, like I know you posted a video the other day and I think it was a walkthrough, but what you could do, like that same walkthrough, you could maybe do a voiceover on the video and say, here's the numbers on this Airbnb unit I just bought in insert city, right? Now it's the same video, but now you're giving us something else to look at, right? You're giving us numbers, you're giving us how much did you pay for the furniture, like the breakdown. Things that you don't even realize you do every day on a daily basis is something new for someone else, right? So that could be another form of content. Like maybe you could tell but you might have to give the script to your video editor, but it's like you write the script one time, right? And then you just fill in the numbers. Like give us the numbers for your 18 unit mini hotel that you just bought and all the other units that you have, like that could be different forms of content, right? So if one day you're posting and you're just doing one of the interview style filming, sitting down videos, then the next day it's a new unit, right? And then let's say the third day, it's like a daily vlog, like you're in Minnesota right now, right? Michigan. Or no, Michigan. Sorry.
Michigan. The same thing.
Rafa's like, no, I'm not. But right. So you're in Michigan right now, right? So that is something that you could be telling us about, right? You could be showing I just bought this 18 unit hotel and it's right in front of Lake Michigan. Here's what I'm projected to make on it. Or here's what I'm doing to it today. I have to get my hands dirty because you told me earlier that you have to do work at it, right? So take little videos of what it is that you're doing. And that's another form of content you can be posting, right? Then you throw a voiceover over it.
Okay, so hold on. Let me interrupt you. I don't want to, but I'm going to interrupt you for a second because I'm going to show you. I literally just went through every door and I recorded it.
Good.
So this is a video of the walkthrough. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That's the view, guys, by the way.
Wow.
Right, so
sick.
Oh, wait.
I can't wait to see the transformation.
Yeah. You know what?
So,
make a video of you snow plowing, bro. Like, that's what I want to see.
There's no snowing, but it's already been plowed. It's snowing right now, actually. It's actually snowing right now.
I want to see a video of you snow plowing.
I can't. There's no. I'll make a video of me jumping into the snow out there. So see this video? So like, what, do you think you would say I would talk over this video or put like the letters in the video itself? You
can talk over that video, and no matter what, if you're doing a talking video, you should always have captions and like over the video.
Grandma couch.
Oh my God.
I'm going to comment. Look at this grandma couch and this grandma lamp.
Look at that lamp. That's hilarious. You need to talk about all of that. But you should always have text on the videos because there are people on Instagram and social media who are hard of hearing. And by the way, 80% of people watch videos on mute. So if I was scrolling and
I do too.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody does. A lot of people watch the videos on mute. So if I'm scrolling and I just see this video, if it's not capturing my attention, I'm somewhere where I'm not hearing the sound, I might not watch the thing, right? But if I would like make the video a little bit like faster.
Well, this is an actual walkthrough.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, so you could definitely say like, I just bought an 18 unit hotel in Michigan. Here's one of the units, you know, and then boom, you could talk about whatever it is like you plan on doing or what you're doing today or just things about it. Have the text on the video so people can watch it on silent. Oh, that's so cool. Looks freezing.
I'm gonna do some stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Just make sure you have a hook and a CTA, a call to action at the end, right? So comment
Okay.
below, or like a call to action that would be different, because you don't always want to say like save this post, follow for more. You don't always want to say that. But you could say like, what design should I do in this unit? Or something where someone can give an opinion is really good for engagement, because people love to give their opinions, whether you ask for it or not. So even more so on social media. Opinions
are like kittens. Everybody's just giving them away, right, Connie?
Opinions are like, never mind, I'm not going to finish.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so I'm trying to, what's one of the crazy things about social media? And this is one of the things that when I had my call with you, I'm super good at thinking about ideas. Like for Rafa, I already have like 20 ideas, like literally what he just showed me right now. But when it comes to myself, like I'm so blank on my own stuff, but I'm like, I can give somebody opinions about their stuff all day long. But when it comes to like my own content, that can be difficult. So like, what's the best way to do that? Or what's the best approach on that end when it comes to like creating content? And that's something that you help people do, right? You come up with the ideas, you come up with those things, which is helpful for a lot of people.
Yes, I help people come up with some ideas, but earlier I mentioned content pillars. That could be one of the ways that you help spark your ideas, right? So like, let's say for you, Jesse, we're like, okay, we have, I don't know, a few different content pillars. Let's say we're like doing 4 right now, but I usually recommend like 6 to 8. But let's say 4. So let's say one content pillar would just be like the numbers, right? So how many different midterm rentals do you have?
I have 8, 9, and then I manage about 13 other ones.
So you could talk about all of those. You can talk about all of them, the numbers on them, what you're making with the ones that you manage versus the ones that you own. Like, what's the difference? Do you recommend one or the other? So that would be one content pillar, right? The numbers.
That's good. Yeah.
The second content pillar could be owning versus managing. That could be posts that you talk about all the time. Like, here's comparing it. The third one could be midterm rental tips for beginners. I'm sure you have a million tips that would help someone that's a beginner, right? So that would be the third content pillar. And then the fourth one, do you have any ideas for the fourth one?
Easiest ways to get started. I guess that would be tips, right?
Yeah. So maybe you can do mistakes you've made that you've learned from, right?
I didn't make any mistakes, Connie. Come on. I don't make mistakes.
Everyone makes
Connie,
mistakes.
you're good, dude. Like you just gave some really good ideas, and I'm like, I would never have thought of this stuff.
So these are your 4 content pillars now, right? So you make like, I usually make like categories. So I'll make like a graph or something. And then I just start writing ideas for each category. So like for the numbers, you can put maybe the addresses or just little things that pop into your mind that you want to touch on like per property. And then for tips, just start thinking about random tips. And as you go on throughout your day, maybe you just learned something or you did something that could be a tip. Maybe you just throw it in your phone notes or something, but you should have it in a place where you're kind of always able to add to it, which is why I recommend like Word documents. And then either like mistakes you made or things you've learned, whatever, that could be another thing. Like maybe, and then another one could be like guest experiences or relatable content. So like a Karen stays at your place or a really good guest stays at your place, things like that. Like there's just so many different ways to, tell stories really is what people connect with, is like the stories, which is why I think sometimes like the sit down interview style content doesn't perform as well as people posting their 18 unit hotel. Or I just thought of another idea. Sorry, my ideas kind of come like this sometimes, but Rafa, for you can do like a green screen effect on Instagram. There's an effect. I can DM it to you so you have it, but post, you'll have that video that you showed me and then you'll be in the front talking about it, which is even better, right? Because it's
pointing at it like this.
Yeah. So you could be like pointing at it. You can move out of the way. It'll show the video. It'll be really cool. So that's a different form of content. I think you should try that. I think it might perform pretty well. And just try different things.
Yeah, send it to me. I really want to do that. I did a video like that on TikTok in the very, very beginning. I think that's why I have a lot of followers on TikTok, because it kind of took off a little bit. And it was a video about how I talked about, we had a guest who held her girlfriend hostage in one of our locations. And I did I was like me talking about, I was like, look, they destroyed this door. And it was like the door got knocked down by SWAT and stuff. It was crazy.
You should repost that video to Instagram.
So that's the thing though. It wasn't a video. It was just photos of the damage and me talking in front of the photos. You know what I'm saying?
But was it a video? Like,
oh yeah, it was a video.
So
yeah,
repost it. If it did good on TikTok, it might do good on Instagram, but just make sure you take out the TikTok logos.
I don't know how to do that. But okay, you know what? I'll record a better one. Send me the green screen thing and I'll record some good ones. This is
Okay,
awesome.
yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
See, now you're getting me excited about social media again. All right.
Everyone says that when they get off the phone with me. Everyone's like, "You're making me so excited." Like, if you look at my reviews, that's what everyone says. It's hilarious.
I noticed that when you post some of your reviews, I was like, it's true though, because the last time we talked, I was all excited. I did like 20 videos.
Yeah.
Rafa's going to go on a spree right now. You should, man. You need to document everything you're doing out there.
Yes.
This takes me to this, Connie. Do we need to buy a Sony Alpha A7 IV, or can I just use my freaking phone to do this? What kind of gear does people need?
I always recommend starting with what you have. A lot of these phones are so like $1,000 at least, and it's because the cameras are like so good on these phones, right? Whether it's a Galaxy or, I mean, I use iPhones and I love the phones. I'm recording this podcast on my phone right now. So I started with my phone. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a ring light. If you just go outside, natural lighting is beautiful. Put your phone in front of a window. Now you have light. So you do not need to buy a single thing unless you don't have a camera, then you will need a phone. But you don't have to go buy a $2,000 camera to make good content.
I record some of my content on my phone sometimes, Jesse. Some of the content I've recorded on Instagram's on my video, on my videos on my phone. People can't even tell the difference.
Facing or you're back facing?
I use both. I've used the front and I've used the back.
No, I use both too.
You use both, Rafa? Because the back camera on an iPhone is better than the front facing camera, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
I mean, the front facing camera is still really nice.
Is it? Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I think when I first started, I was like, man, I need to buy this camera.
Damn it! I stopped recording an accident.
Here, I'll take one too. I'm gonna do a day in the life.
Let's do it. Go.
Woo-hoo.
Oh my god! Everybody listening right now is gonna be like, these guys are taking Instagram selfies.
So I'm taking this video as I'm recording a podcast with Coni. Coni, say hello.
Hello.
Oh my god! So you guys were like, so now we're becoming Coni. Like,
Coni, I'm telling you, dude, this is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy that
it's a video within a video.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I post about that all the time too. Don't focus so much on creating content. Just start documenting, right? And then you can like connect with someone like me, and then now you have all this content that we can work with, and then I'll help you.
You know, speaking of Coni, I was going through my phone the other night because I go through my phone every couple of days and I'll delete like BS that I have saved on there. And dude, I have like tons of old content of like unit walkthroughs when they were empty. I can do, remember you did my first before and after video? I was all excited because that thing took off. I was like, hell yeah, I got a bunch of views. I have a bunch of content like that. Like, can you repurpose that stuff or is it too late to use it?
100,000%. You should always repurpose your content. I also recommend any content that performs well, repost it again in 3 months. Just, because you'll get new followers by that time if you're being consistent. Repost it. Another thing you have to remember is people are always scrolling, but sometimes they miss things, right? So if you posted something like last Friday, maybe I never saw it, but you posted again in 3 months, I see it, then that's, people aren't keeping tabs on you like that.
Hang on that. So would you start a brand new post? You just redo that exact same post, or would you like refresh it?
You can save the post and just repost the same exact post. You can remake it in a different shirt or whatever.
Oh,
you can repurpose it into some kind of carousel post. You can do it in so many different ways.
Got you. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. Like that's good to know because there's some content that gets really good views and other stuff, and it's random what gets good views. Like it could be something silly. It's weird how that happens. I've had a couple videos go viral where it's like my phone wouldn't stop beeping. It's like likes like crazy, and it's like what the flip is going on right now? And that's kind of weird how that happens. Like how that algorithm works. So we kind of hit a lot of the stuff right now, and I want to get into your business part because we're at the top of the hour right now. If somebody, are you super selective of who you bring on as a client right now? Because I know that you have like a couple high profile people. Are you only going after those high profile people or like our audience now, somebody that wants to get in the space or has a following already? Do you choose, like, how do you choose people? And I'm talking about myself right now in a way. Sorry to bring about this. Making it about me, guys.
Just making it about him. Yeah. So usually my main thing is, yes, I don't take on every single client just because it's a lot of work. A lot of people don't realize like the things that I can do and the amount of time that I can do it. It's not like normal. Like I don't want to hype myself up, but I can really like take your Instagram from here to there in a short amount of time. Right. So I am selective. I have to work with someone who's like good with taking content all the time, who is actually trying to show up for themselves. Because if it's someone who just expects me to like come in and like just, do everything without you, the subject of the business, then we're not going to, I just want people to see the results. I'm very results focused. I could take on everyone and then everyone would get shitty performance, content, engagement, but that's not what I'm aiming for. I just want people who are actually going to also work with me, because this is not a done for you kind of service. It's done with you. And if you want it and I can see that you want it, then I want to help you. But if you don't, I don't want to waste my time, because I don't want you to be my client who gets like BS results. Like that would make me feel bad. I want you to get the good results, and I want us to both be happy, not just me getting a paycheck. Like that's not what I do it for.
Yeah.
I feel bad because we've been talking about working together for like 4 months now. We never find a time to take a phone call. I always get so busy, or you're busy, and I'm like, gosh darn it, we got to do that still.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I'm starting to try to build out a team just so I can help more people. But at the same time, I'm still figuring out, like I was telling Jesse, I do want to start a podcast and just talk about these things all the time. It's just what I love to do, and not doing it for any purpose, just kind of for myself. Like I love talking about it, and anyone who wants to talk about it with me, like great. But I've, for a long time, put social media like on the side or on the back burner. And I know that's just been a huge waste of my time, because I'm very passionate about it. And I think I could help a lot of people. So we'll see where I'm taking it. Like right now, I kind of just want to like talk about it more and put myself out there. So
YouTube.
Thanks again. Yeah, YouTube, yes. But yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
You got to get on YouTube.
I'm excited that you came on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get on YouTube. So there's a couple more things that I want to ask you before we get into we get in this segment. All right, are you going to take me or not, Coni? Like, am I going to be your client or not? Come on, I'm just kidding. So, okay, to bring things full circle again, you're able to help people from the beginning, putting content ideas together, like a real quick like pitch of what you actually do to help people, if you want to do that. So then we'll jump into what your big break is and all that.
Well, what I do is I help people create organic content that results in organic followings, just for any kind of business opportunity or just to get your story out there. Because like we were talking about earlier, so many possibilities come from social media. So that's what I do. I just grow your following organically, so you will always be reaching your targeted client avatar or follower.
Yeah, and I think the thing to note too,
and you're good at it.
Thank you.
And you come up with ideas. That's one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Somebody that's busy and has a lot of stuff going on, like that's difficult. Like for me, myself, Rafa, probably the same thing. To come up with our own ideas sometimes can be cumbersome. We can think about all these other things and all these other ideas we could do with our businesses or whatnot, but when it comes to like our own stuff, I'm a blank. Like I'm just like, what do I talk about?
Yeah. Well, it's also like when you do it every day, you don't realize that this is content, but then you have someone like me that comes in and is like, everyone would love to know about your, whatever it is you have going on, like your event coming up, your hotel. Like that is so cool. That is a cool story. And I think what resonates really well with people is when you can tell a story. Like if you're too salesy on Instagram and it's like very clear, you're always trying to sell like you're something, then it's just like, it's like the same thing on YouTube. When you see a commercial, you're just trying to click next. Like people are going to treat your content like that. So if you are talking and telling a story, and you should always be asking yourself, why would someone care about this post? Or why would this post, how is this helping my ideal client niche or avatar, whatever? Because when you make it about you, people stop caring. Like people want to know how can you help me? Like, how is this going to better me in my life? You always have to post content in that way.
Yep. I hear you. Yeah, I totally agree. I think you give, and then you get an ask. Like you give a ton, and then you give an ask. That's something I heard from Alex Ramosi, listening to his podcast. He's like, people's paid stuff, you give away free stuff that's better than their paid stuff.
Oh, hell
and then you give all that stuff out, and then you have an ask. Then you're like, hey guys, I have a course.
I gotta start asking for stuff.
Give, and then you ask. Give, ask. I think that's the way to do it. You know what I mean? Like you have to be super thoughtful in that end. So. All right, Coni, that's awesome. I appreciate you. So now let's get into the Rafa. You want to get into the big break? What's Connie's big break?
Yeah. I mean, I had a couple of questions, Jesse, but sure.
Oh, sorry, man.
Ask your question.
No. I was actually this whole time I'm thinking what great example you gave about the when you watch an ad on YouTube. I hate that shit. When a YouTube ad when an ad comes up on YouTube, I'm just like, okay, dude, I don't care. Next. I'm like, gosh darn it, I have to watch this for 5 seconds. I'm miserable for 5 seconds.
Pay for freaking YouTube, whatever it is, Red or whatever. Is it? What is YouTube Red? Is
you
that gone?
That? I didn't know it was a thing. Bro, I have no idea what that is. No, but what I'm saying is, I see some. Yeah, I think they used to have it. I don't remember. I thought it was YouTube TV now. No. But see, what I'm saying is the whole thing where on Instagram, right, the whole 3-second hook thing, you only have 3 seconds for people to actually want to watch your video. Because when I see it on YouTube, I'm like, gosh, this sucks. I don't want to watch the ads. And it's the same thing that's why I stopped using Instagram, because every video is like a selling pitch. I'm like, dude, can you give some good content, right?
Well, you should just use that as inspiration to not be like that.
Yeah, you're right. 100%.
If you got ads on your YouTube, that means you're freaking monetized, and that's a good thing. So, Rafa, you want to have ads, bro.
No, I get that. I just don't want to see them. There's a difference. Anyway, so all right, yeah, we're at the top of the hour, Connie. So I want to keep it within the time. So being that this is a big break show, you got to tell us. Do you have something that was a big break? What's your big break? Whether it was pre social media Connie to now great social media Connie, or pre-business, or because we only talked about your social media stuff, and I know you have so much other stuff going on, right, within real estate and stuff like that. And I want to maybe we'll bring you up for a second episode about that. But I like, is there something specific about that you want to that was your big break prior?
I feel like I don't have like a big social media break yet, but I think within the last month, like December of 2022, was when I realized, okay, like I'm going to go all in on my passion, which is social media. So for me, it's like a big mental break. Like it was a roadblock that I had to just accept that I am good at this. I love this. And I need to stop thinking that there's so many of people like me out there, because that's not true. There's a lot of people that do what I do, but not in the way that I do it, if that makes sense. So that's why earlier I was talking about, if there's like 1,000 short-term rental investors on Instagram, everyone has a different kind of story, and your story will resonate with your people that it's supposed to resonate with. So I think that was huge for me. So that is something I'm really excited about and I'm proud of. And I'm, doing all the things to kind of get myself to where I see myself. So that for me was, I just see myself like educating and doing courses, but not BS courses. Like I actually want to do courses that's really going to teach people. And I want it to be as simple and easy and digestible for people to understand, to see results right away. Like that's my goal. Like I just want to help people with social media, because I see so many people struggling with it, and you don't need to struggle with it, so I don't know. I just see myself in the education space, maybe with an agency. That's another thing I want to build out. But I'm one of those people that I have like that entrepreneurial mind where I'm like, oh my God, I want to do all these things at once, but I have to really just like reel it back in, which is another reason why I don't take so many clients at once, because I can't handle so many people at once and myself and grow my business. I would love to have like an agency and just education. I'm not sure which way I'm going to take it, but just talking more about it, because I haven't spoken about it until recently. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's super awesome. I look forward to seeing what you're going to do. I think you're going to do some 2023 is your year, Connie. Actionable steps. So what's something somebody could do today after listening to this episode? Like, an actionable step that they could do to either be better at social or something in general. If you can give us something.
Well, if they're not on social media yet, I would definitely recommend downloading one kind of app that you resonate with. If you are, I would say just try to record some content, like do something, post something at least. It's those random posts that took you 5 seconds that end up just like popping off. You know what I mean? So like, don't think too much about it. Just start posting, see what your audience is resonating with, right? Do different kinds of posts, like the content pillars I was talking about, and different forms of that content. And whatever people are resonating with, whether it's you talking about, whatever, your midterm rental, your hotel, if people are really loving that content, then keep posting more of that. Like post what people want to see. Don't post what you want to see.
I got another question. Like for me, I hate being on camera. I have double chins and stuff. So like I have to, like, you guys see this right here? Like this is me posting, guys.
I didn't see it.
I got double chins. So like somebody who's super self-conscious, that's me, by the way. I hate being on camera. Like I don't like it at all. People are always like, oh, you love being on camera. Like, dude, no, I don't. I freaking despise being on camera. So what would you say to somebody like me that's just like, I was worried about what people thought of me when I first started. Like people in my circle, people around, like I felt uncomfortable. Now I just don't give a shit anymore. I'm just like, whatever, this is what I'm doing. Like, I don't care.
Why don't you give a shit anymore?
Because I've built like a career out of it. And it's just
Exactly. So that's one of the things, like that's one of the other main issues that people run into when they're with me and they're getting coached by me is, oh, I'm not comfortable. I don't know, like my family will judge me. My friends will judge me. Listen, right back to what I was saying about the block button. But if you don't want to block your family, then maybe you can start a new Instagram for your business, because you'll feel comfortable posting. Like I don't always recommend starting a new Instagram, but if you are really that uncomfortable with your following, you can remove followers. But if you don't want to do that, then just start a new Instagram where you feel comfortable, because starting from zero but posting is better than having an account with 2,000 followers and never posting. You're never going to grow like that, but you will grow if you post. Like, you need to post. So another thing you could do is, if you don't want to, start a new account yet, you can start talking on your stories to the camera. That's another way to get comfortable showing your face, because you don't realize it, but people like to see that stuff. People like to see and feel like you're talking to them. So if you do decide to do that, I always recommend, if you're going to talk to the camera, talk to it as if you're talking to one person, like your best friend with your personality. So I don't get on my, stories. I'm like, hey guys, just popping on really quick. I hate that. I hate that. Like, that is so inauthentic. No one cares that, no. When I talk to the camera, it's like I'm talking to one single person, my best friend. I show my personality a lot, and that's for a reason. It connects me with people who would like me. I don't want to pretend that I'm someone, and then now this person likes me, the person who I pretended to be. I'd rather someone dislike me for me than like me for me not being myself, if that makes sense.
So you're basically saying I could be a nerd because I'm kind of a nerd in real life.
100%.
I could be a nerd. Rafa, why did you tell me to be a nerd, bro?
You already are a nerd. I don't need to tell you to be one.
Rafa's like, I didn't know you weren't being a nerd. No kidding.
Dude, you're a freaking nerd. Look at your glasses, Jesse. You're a freaking nerd, man.
No.
That is funny. Well, that's awesome. Well, there it is, folks. Miss Coni, who is now going to be my social media manager. Welcome to the team. But we just need to have a couple conversations. Coni started in 10 years ago at 18, sold the website for 10 grand before Facebook was even a thing. And then here we are, fast forward 10 years later, you're now doing your own thing, working with some high profile people, bringing in the real Jesse Vasquez, which is another high profile person. I'm just kidding. So yeah, I'm super excited. And Rafa, you got to work with her too, man. Come on, we gotta. That's how we're gonna work a deal with Coni.
We've been trying to work together for like 3 months. We just can't find the time to have a phone call.
Well,
yeah, because you're over there in Michigan freezing.
I'm sorry. It's 100% my fault. It's 100% my fault. I'm all over the place.
Rafa's shoveling snow out in Michigan. That's what he went out there for, you guys, to shovel snow.
It's funny because it just started snowing really hard. So I was like, that's why I keep looking over there. I was like, shit, I got to go outside right now. Anyway.
I'm cold just thinking about it.
Well, Coni, thanks so much for being here. We're super stoked, and this was a fantastic episode.
Yay! I'm glad, and thank you guys for having me. And we'll connect again to talk about other stuff.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you came on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll bring you on again for sure.
Cool. Bye.